What do you do about osteoporosis in your spine? Can you fix it? How do you manage it? Is that even why maybe you're getting shorter? So let's address these common questions about spinal osteoporosis, back pain, and spinal health so you can strengthen your spine and be your own guarantee for your health in your life. So let's dive into osteoporosis in the spine right now. And just in general, osteoporosis is where the bones become weak and brittle in the spine. All right. It can be in the hips and the thighs, the hands, everywhere in your body it can happen, but specifically we're talking about the spine. And think about a tall skyscraper losing its structural integrity. And that's what happens and can happen with osteoporosis in the spine. The spine weakens, the bones weaken, leading to more fragility and potential fractures. And one big sign of this, which I hear quite often in practice and even online, is you get shorter. All right. So if you notice yourself getting shorter, that's because the vertebrae weaken, it compress and can make you shorter. But also, what can also happen is can even create that hunchback. All right. Lead to that and a weakening there, and vice versa. The hunchback can also predispose you to problems and fractures associated with osteoporosis. So can osteoporosis actually be fixed? It might not be able to completely reverse, but it can be improved. And if we keep doing the things that caused the osteoporosis and the breakdown in the first place, lifestyle things, our nutrition, our sedentary habits and poor postural habits, not getting enough exercise, not getting enough sunlight, eating too much scrap food, guess what? These are going to cause the bones to break down. And on top of that, if you're taking medication, that can break down the bones too, or indirectly. So you might not be able to completely reverse it, but you can absolutely improve it. Just like you can renovate the skyscraper, renovate your house. It's the structure is still okay, or like the outside of it, but you just have to move some things around on the inside and make sure that it's all good on the inside. You can reinforce the structure of it. So one big way to do this is through exercise. Oftentimes people use swimming. They do swimming, which is a great cardiovascular exercise, or water aerobics. That's great. But what we want to help stimulate the bones to actually strengthen, the spine to actually strengthen, is more weight-bearing activities. Now, as you get started, yes, the pool is great, but you want to graduate and progress to more weight-bearing activities because that causes more bone formation, making the bones stronger. So safer, gentle exercises. Obviously, you can always modify these to fit your level, but safe exercise like brisk walking, elliptical machines, it's still taking the stress off of the spine, off of the joints. Body weight exercise, maybe some squats, maybe if you can handle it, different push-ups. And there's different modifications you can do with push-ups. You can have your knees down. You can have your hands elevated, even against a wall. Just something to stimulate the bones to get stronger there. Other ones where weight-bearing, yoga, tai chi, or yoga and tai chi are also good ones to help strengthen the bones that are safe to also improve your balance and reduce the risk of falls. So think weight bearing when you're doing these types of activities, or thinking about exercise, because that helps to stimulate the bone formation. Now, I mentioned this already in the opening about posture. So your posture, remember, posture is a window to your spine and your nervous system. So anywhere that your posture is distorted, especially this forward flex posture, means that there's weakness or injuries that can predispose you to other problems. And if your posture is weak, if your spine is weakened, it can weaken and cause more of these spinal problems, especially if the bones are already weak. So there was research showing that slouching, or this forward, by this forward flexed posture, head and upper body leaning forward, it puts extra pressure on the spine, causing the hyperkyphosis and the height loss, that hunchback that we talked about, the hyperkyphosis, there's your height loss there. In addition to that, though, this hunched back posture causes a higher risk of fractures because it's putting excess pressure on the front of the bone, causing them to wedge, and it's not able to withstand that if the bones are already weak. Now, we don't want to hunch back even if we don't have osteoporosis, but we definitely don't want that if you have osteoporosis or a bone, your bones are breaking down, even osteopenia. So maintaining a good posture, engaging in gentle exercises, the weight-bearing exercises, using, even possibly, I'm not a huge fan of them, but it depends if you need one, specific braces. There's newer ones now. Now, typically I would want specifically for your spine. So how we identify that is, okay, from your standing spinal x-rays, how can we make a brace that would prevent the bones from breaking down? Now, we want to make sure we still work the muscles though. We don't want to just be in a brace all the time because then the muscles are going to get weak. So I'm going to also link to these 5 simple exercises that you can do for a strong and mobile spine. Definitely modify them if you have fractures, if you have osteoporosis. If you're watching this, more than likely you do. You want to modify those, and you want to make sure that you're doing them only in a gentle, pain-free. You never want to force any of these exercises. So I'll link to that in the description. Okay. Now, another big one, Eaton method. So remember the Eaton method, EATN. This is the method that I use to help structurally correct the spine. So exercises, adjusting your lifestyle. Again, that's the postural and daily things that we do. How are we doing them in a healthier posture? Traction, that's the T, which we'll get to, and N, which I want to cover a lot right here and go through a list of things that you can do nutritionally to help build the bones back up. So we want to prioritize essential nutrients, especially foods that are rich in essential nutrients for the bone: calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, manganese, vitamin K, and protein. So as I go down this list, take note. All right. And if you want my actual strong spine BYOG food list, just type in list and I'll make sure I get that to you. It's broken down into 5 different levels from anywhere from the BYOG, be your own guarantee foods that you want to stick to, all the way down to avoid these like the plague. Number one of them is raw cultured dairy. So the raw cultured dairy, we want to avoid the processed, ultra processed dairy and cheese and milk. We want to have calcium rich foods in our diet: broccoli, okra, watercress. Almonds and sardines are all great sources. Manganese rich foods: beans, legumes, macadamia nuts, hazelnuts. Omega-3 rich foods, especially from wild caught fish. Some great ones are sardines. Again, I love sardines. Salmon, anchovies, mackerel, halibut. Green leafy vegetables, especially arugula. A lot of times we stick to spinach and kale and we put that in the smoothies, that is good in smoothies. I wouldn't recommend arugula in smoothies. That doesn't give a great taste to it. But in your salads, arugula is amazing. Alkaline-rich foods, green vegetables, fresh herbs, spices, tomatoes, avocados, cucumbers, nutrient-rich protein sources, grass-fed meat, wild-caught fish, especially, again, sardines. That's the 3rd time I've mentioned those. Pasture-raised eggs. Now, what do you want to avoid? You want to avoid foods that contribute to bone loss. That makes sense, right? So excessive alcohol. We want to avoid sweetened beverages, sodas. And, I'm in Michigan, so I say pop. I want to avoid soda pop or a lot of carbonated beverages that have, sweeteners in them. You want to avoid added sugar to your diet because that will increase the inflammation. If you look on a label of something, you want to look to see, is there added sugar there? And you want to avoid that. Processed meats, processed red meat especially, 100% grass-fed, grass-finished. Beef is amazing, is great, but processed red meat, conventional meat, has hormones in it, has other chemicals in there that they give there to make it grow faster, to grow more, but they can weaken you. And you want to avoid excessive caffeine. You want to avoid smoking because all these things weaken the bone. All right, so that's nutritionally just a list there. But again, type in list and I will get you that the Strong Spine food list. Sunlight is big. So aiming for 20 minutes a day in the sunlight. If it's at a time where there's not a whole lot of sunlights, then supplements definitely help. Or if you need that little extra boost, supplements for bone support, for spinal support are a lot of times needed. You want to make sure that you're taking the right amount, the right one in the right amount. You want to avoid ones that you're just, the mass produced ones. In general, the better supplements that have your good magnesium, vitamin K2, strontium, calcium in there. It's not just about calcium. It's about how to get that calcium absorbed in there. So it needs to have these other types of supplements in there, the vitamins in there. You might want to avoid, I don't want to say might, avoid as much as you can the cheap vitamins that you see on the shelf at your big box stores. More than likely, they don't have in there what it says that they do. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but that's kind of how it works, is the higher quality vitamins are probably going to cost you a little bit more, but they're actually going to have the vitamins and the minerals in there that your body needs. So I always suggest talking to a healthcare professional, a functional medicine doctor. They're better equipped, a health coach, they're better equipped to answer questions about the vitamins and minerals as far as that goes. Now, remember the EAT method, the T part of it, the traction, the structural correction. Spinal health care, the structural correction, that's hugely important to help improve your posture and reduce the pressure on the bones and on the joints. If you have fractures in your spine, we can still help the spinal structure even with those. If the bones are already wedged, yes, you won't be able to get full correction, but you can improve it. We can always improve your health. You can always improve your function. And as you improve your spinal health, your spinal structuring function, then the rest of your body gets better too. The pain decreases, your energy gets better, your metabolism gets better, you're able to move around better. So that's why I always recommend chiropractic biophysics physicians, CBP. So we're trained, I'm included in that. We're trained on how to address specific issues in your spine. So then we can come up with a personalized plan to help reverse the effects of that. Now, on top of that, if we're talking just strictly osteoporosis, I'll also link to this interview that I did with the bone coach, Kevin Ellis. It's a great resource to help you understand osteoporosis of your entire body, but especially your spine, and the steps that you can take to reverse it as much as possible, get off, hopefully, any medications that you're taking, because a lot of these medications, they don't help to rebuild the bone. They help just to hopefully stabilize it, but then they cause other problems in your body and in your health. So we want a holistic BYOG, be your own guarantee approach, using safe exercises, proper nutrition, some targeted supplements, good posture and spinal hygiene. This is a long-term project. Whether you think it is or not, maybe you're 50 years old, maybe you're 55, 60, maybe you're 70. You still got a lot of years left. And these types of things help you not just increase the quality of your life, but increase the quantity of your life. So you want to make sure we stand tall, feel your body, feel your body, but yeah, fuel your body with the right nutrients and with the right approach. Again, you can be your own guarantee for your spine, your health, your life. And definitely check out those resources that I mentioned. I will type in list if you want that food list, and I'll make sure I get that to you.